So the Trump gag orders, they're on again, off again, on again, off again. You know, friends, it's becoming pretty clear. The criminal justice system has a real gag reflex problem. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, two quick things before we start. First of all, I forgot my black jacket at home today, so we're going with street clothes. I even have my Justice Matters t-shirt on. And the second thing is, I mentioned this recently at the end of one of my videos. I've been posting these daily YouTube videos for years now, more than 1,300 videos, and I realize I never ask anybody to please subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button. It's always free. So there, I just asked. Thank you. So now, let's dig in. Friends, are you sick and tired of Donald Trump's threatening posts, threatening speech? I know the witnesses must be sick and tired of it because Donald Trump endangers witnesses, judges and their staff, prosecutors and their family members. He endangers everyone. Everyone who is involved in any way in the endeavor to try to hold Donald Trump accountable for his crimes. And the institutions of government, in particular the criminal justice system, seems unwilling or unable to protect the witnesses and others against Donald Trump's dangerousness. The one way they could do that would be to keep in place the gag orders that not one but two judges, one in New York and one in D.C., issued against Donald Trump. But friends, as I say, it seems pretty clear, given the on again, off again, on again, off again nature of all this, that the criminal justice system has a gag reflex problem. Let's have a look at some of the new reporting. This from The Independent. Headline, Trump launches fresh attack on court clerk after gag order lifted. And that article begins, Donald Trump launched a fresh attack on the court clerk in his New York civil fraud trial almost as soon as the gag order was lifted in the case. On Thursday, an appeals court judge paused the gag order, which was introduced by Justice Arthur Engoron following his previous comments about the court clerk. The former president took to Truth Social to instantly take advantage of the opportunity to attack her, the clerk, and the judge. Quote, Judge Arthur Engoron has just been overturned, stayed by the New York State Appellate Division Appeals Court for the fourth time on the same case. His ridiculous and unconstitutional gag order not allowing me to defend myself against him and his politically biased and out of control Trump-hating clerk, who is sinking him and his court to new levels of low, is a disgrace, Trump wrote. And that's not all Donald Trump wrote. This from another recent Trump post. Trump-hating radical left judge Arthur Engoron was just stayed on his gag order, which unconstitutionally prohibited me and my attorneys from talking about important elements of a fraud case where it was he and Letitia James that committed the fraud by knowingly, substantially, and outrageously devaluing my asset values in order to make me look guilty of something which I did not do. A.G. James and Engoron worked in collusion to make some assets many times lower in value than they are. So Donald Trump directly accuses the judge and the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, of committing crimes, of conspiring, of, in his word, colluding. If anybody knows about collusion, it's Donald Trump. He falsely accuses them of committing crimes against him. This is what Donald Trump does. He endangers, he threatens, and he inspires to violence all of his supporters. He did it with his foot soldiers at the Capitol on January 6th, and he's doing it again the minute the gag order is paused or stayed or temporarily lifted. He does it all over again. And friends, we let him. By we, I mean the institutions of government, the criminal justice system, the prosecutors, the judges. Yes, they are all hard at work trying to hold Donald Trump accountable. But if he was any other defendant, he would long ago have been revoked on pretrial release and ordered into pretrial detention to put a stop to him endangering the witnesses against him. Just think about what he said on January 6th and think about the result, what his words inspired. He simply tweeted out while the Capitol attack raged on, while his supporters, his foot soldiers, the boots of the insurrection, obeying his orders, were in the process of attacking the Capitol. Donald Trump tweeted, Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what he should have done. In other words, to keep me in power. What was the message that was sent with those words? Get him. Unmistakably, that was his message. Get him. And of course, the crowd tried to get him, Mike Pence. They hunted for him. They chanted, hang Mike Pence. And here Donald Trump is doing it all over again. And Goron and James are conspiring, committing crimes against me. Get him. And the system continues to pause, to temporarily stay the gag orders that are designed to stop Donald Trump from endangering the witnesses and everybody else involved in the endeavor to hold him accountable for his crimes. That's got to stop. Now, maybe come Monday, when the appellate court in Washington, D.C. will hear oral argument on Judge Chutkan's gag order that she put in place expressly to protect the witnesses and the court staff and the prosecutors and their family members. Maybe after the oral argument on Monday, the appellate court in D.C. will order the gag order reimposed because it is appropriate, it is lawful, it is constitutional. For goodness sakes, there's plenty of case law, there's plenty of precedent saying it's absolutely appropriate for a judge to put some restrictions on a party's speech, to protect the integrity of the system, to ensure that the jury pool won't be poisoned, and to basically preserve the due administration of justice. There's plenty of case law supporting it. So hopefully the appellate court will rule it's time to put the gag order back in place. Which is only one step. What's ultimately needed is for Donald Trump to be revoked on pretrial release and detained pending trial, because the law says if somebody poses a danger to the community, a danger to another, a danger to society, in Donald Trump's instance, a danger to the very existence and viability of our democracy, that person should be detained pending trial, provided there's clear and convincing evidence of dangerousness, and there is. So friends, I'll be in the courtroom watching the appellate argument this coming Monday. I will post and do a quick Justice Matters video right here on what played out in the appellate argument. Ordinarily, appellate court judges will ask very pointed questions of the parties, the prosecutors and the defense attorneys, and generally you can tell by their questions which way they might be leaning. We won't know how they are going to rule, but we might get a pretty good sense as the oral arguments play out on Monday. So I will try to let you all know in real time what I'm seeing, how I'm interpreting it. Back in the day, I used to argue cases before that very court, the DC Federal Circuit Court of Appeals, and I will try to let you all know which way it looks like things might be leaning. Let's hope things lean in favor of reinstituting the gag order, protecting the witnesses, protecting the judges and the courts, their court staff, protecting the prosecutors and their family members, and preserving the due administration of justice, because, you know, justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.